And the Islamic State in West African province has claimed responsibility for the attack on the police station in Adavi Okene local government area of Kogi State. A gunman had invaded the station in the early hours of Saturday, shooting sporadically and killed 3 officers. The attackers, however, fled with gunshot wounds as they could not get access to the station. Well, in a report by Voice of America, ISWAP released a statement claiming responsibility for the attack. Well, ISWAP also claimed responsibility for a bomb attack which killed a number of persons in Taraba State last week. And in the midst of kidnapping, insurgency and killings, especially in the northern parts of the country, well, there is a ray of hope as a non-governmental organization is providing alternative education for out-of-school children in the north. The organization is advancing the phrase Boko na Light as against Boko Haram in Buari Area Council of the Federal Capital Territory. The NGO is taking children off the streets and giving them Western education so that they will not become recruits for insurgents.
We introduced this program to help first deal with the ideology behind Boko Haram. Boko Haram has been about an ideology that education is forbidden, Western education is forbidden. Now, the creation of Boko na Light is like Western education is not forbidden, but it's light. What makes it light is education is actually the only means out of poverty. Nigeria is going through a whole lot of issues, banditry, Boko, insurgency, and all the problems we are having as a country. When you want to trace it down, it boils down to education, societal reorientation, which is very critical for national development.
In Nigeria today, we know that there are about 10.5 million Nigerian children who are out of school in Nigeria, according to UNICEF. And the World Bank reports that over 90% of Nigerian people are living below the poverty line. So it's an ugly trend that have actually contributed to this high rate of out-of-school children. So brought this Boko na Light actually to reduce or to deplete the percentage of Nigerian children who are out of school.
Well, let's bring in the man behind Boko na Light, Kenneth Chima. He is the founder of Spring Aid Foundation. Well, he joins us now in the studio. Thank you so much for being here. That was just an interesting, a story there. But, you are the man behind this vision. Talk to us. What really led to you deciding to do this?
First and foremost, thank you so much, Amaka. Spring Aid Foundation actually was born out of innate passion for humanity. There's a difference between a businessman and a humanitarian. A humanitarian, we are more committed to service to humanity. So when we came up it was a practical issue that happened where I reside because of my interaction with local vendors, water vendor, shoe cobblers. Then at the same time, you see bikemen having this barrier, communication barrier. So due to this communication barrier, some of them are not well informed because they are not literate. They can't even communicate. So at the end of the day, I saw it as a problem. That how do we solve this? To be honest, certainly I started thinking of what is the next solution we can do. At least let's create a platform. Since I'm a humanitarian by birth, I said, okay. We started like jokingly, it was an informal note. We came up with Spring Aid Foundation.
I'm interested in the Boko na Light campaign.
Okay.
Yes.
As I said earlier on, Spring Aid Foundation, that is the historical aspect of Spring Aid Foundation coming into existence. But beyond that, we are committed to actually improving access to basic education for women and children. But for this Boko na Light, we designed this program actually for out-of-school children. It's an alternative school program designed for out-of-school children, targeting them just to teach them basic literacy, numeracy, and at the same time, to see how we can bring in multiple and flexible learning pathways. The Boko na Light was to change the narration of Boko Haram to Boko na Light. I know Boko means Western education is forbidden. That is Boko Haram. But in this context now, we are saying, okay, how do we change the narrative? How do we change this ideology? Because Boko Haram was born out of ideology. We said, okay, the first thing we do, we have to key into John Locke. John Locke said, he gave an explanation that the heart of a child, the mind of the child is like a tabula rasa, empty slate, that whatever you write on it stays on it. We said, okay, we need to change the narration. We need to capture the heart of the child early. So we came up with this Boko Nalite. And from the clip that was showed, if you go through it, you see the statistics that over 10.5 million Nigerian children are out of school, according to UNICEF.
Well, unfortunately, that number has gone up. But what sort of support do you actually enjoy? Because when you're talking about teaching these children, and not just that, taking them out of the streets, you have to find a way to feed them, house them, and all of that. So I'm concerned, because I'm not looking at you as a young man. What sort of support are you getting so far for this project, Boko Nalite?
The support have not been massive enough. The support has been actually coming from us. We are yet to get support from the government. We are yet to get support from the outer world. It's something that was born out of passion, and we have been doing it in only 2 ways.
Okay.
Basically, most of the children you saw there was actually people from the poor household.
How many children and women, you said that's your core mandate and that's your target. How many of them do you have now that are part of this project? And, you know, what's the big dream that you have for this project, Boko Nalite, in the long run, maybe down the line in the next 5 years or so? So how many do you have, and what's the big picture?
Currently, we have over 100 children running, and they are still increasing day by day, because whenever they come to tap from it, they go back and tell the other ones that are not tapping from it. And so far, so good. I'm projecting that in the next 5 years, we should be able to have, centers in different states. As it stands now, there's a particular place in Buhari called Zango. They are begging for me to come and set up this Boko Nalite center for them. So, but the issue is this now, we have a very scarce and lean resources. Right. How do we maximize this? How do we do this? It has been a challenge. Like recently, we introduced the digital literacy section, which was actually designed to nurture them and to see if we can spark up their interest in the digital world. Up till now, as I speak to you, we still need funding. Funding, and we are calling the Nigerian government at the same time, the philanthropies all over the country, to see how they can support us to take it to different levels.
Absolutely. Well, you should be supported. You know, anything that talks about education, because that statistics has gone up to about 13.5 million. Honestly. And unfortunately, 85% of those children are in northern Nigeria, which your focus is. So I would have to say, well done, and thank you so much. Kenneth Chima, the founder of Spring Aid Foundation, of course, those behind Boko Nalite. Thank you for being here tonight.